Hello everyone. Today we have a new story called Lucky Magnet. But before that, I'm going to introduce you to my little friend Rambo. Rambo is about 4 months old. He was born here and he's very playful. He's looking a bit funny because he's had a face wash at the moment, but he's really very active. He's what you call a red yellow Persian cat, and he likes to eat, he likes to talk, and he likes to chase after shiny objects. So that's Rambo. So Rambo will be with us today while we are listening to the story. Okay? Yeah. That's a treat for him. He loves treats. Here you go. Now you dropped it. Meow. He's getting desperate because he can't find his treats. There you go. Here you are, Rambo. As I told you, he loves to eat. Rambo is the youngest of my cats, and he's got a lot of brothers and sisters all over. So here's Rambo. Now I'll tell you a story about Rambo. Rambo was born at a time when we couldn't look after him, and we were not sure that he would survive. He was born under the kitchen cupboard. But he struggled and he struggled, and finally, after 1 month, we decided, well, Rambo has fought his way to earn the right to live. So then we started looking after him and giving him a little bit of care and food, etc. So that's why we call him Rambo, because he's such a strong-willed cat. Yes, he's got a very fluffy tail. So today's story, The Lucky Magnet. John Carr strolls slowly along the road whistling, his right hand fingering the 3-penny bit which lay in his trouser pocket. He was in no hurry to spend it, but for one thing, he wasn't sure that he wanted to buy or what he wanted to buy. And for another thing, he didn't want to go home just yet. There was rather an uproar at home. Uncle Jim had been staying with the Carrs for a fortnight. He had just sent a telegram to say that he had dropped a small key somewhere in their house. It was the key to a box of important papers at his office, and he wanted it found at once. Mother and Jane were hunting high and low. They seemed to think it might be John's fault it was lost, so he had come out to spend his 3 pence. Lucky magnets, lucky magnets. The man on the edge of the curb blew on his fingers. Oh, that's not very pretty. You can sit down there. And stamped his feet to try and keep warm. John turned at the sound of his voice, then walked across to look at the magnets on his tray. Lucky magnets, Sonny? Questioned the man. Penny, 2 pence, 3 pence? each? All right, nodded John. I'll take a threepenny one, please. He fished his threepenny piece out of his pocket, put the magnet in its place, and set off home. Now perhaps I'll be able to get a bit of Meccano I dropped behind the sideboard yesterday, he said. When he got indoors, he could hear Mother and Jane moving furniture in the spare room. They were still looking for the key. John took off his coat and hat, tied a long piece of string to his magnet, and went into the dining room. Climbing on a chair, he let the magnet down behind the sideboard and swung it to and fro. In a few seconds, he drew it up, and there on the end of it hung the bit of Meccano. "Goody!" cried John. "Now I think I'll drop it down behind the other things, in case I've lost anything and forgotten about it." So he tried behind the bookcase and the bureau, but the magnet picked up nothing. When he crossed the room to the billiards tabletop, which stood against the wall, he dragged the magnet backwards and forwards behind the tabletop a few times, and was just going to pull it up when it seemed to catch in something and grow suddenly heavy. Very carefully he drew it up, eager to see what he had caught this time. On the very end of the magnet hung a small key. "Mother, Jane," he called, rushing into the hall, "I believe I found Uncle Jim's key." Mother came running downstairs, followed by Jane. "Yes, it is," she cried. "Where did you find it?" "Behind the billiards tabletop," replied John proudly. "I caught it with my new magnet." "Why, it must have fallen into one of the pockets when Uncle Jim was playing billiards with Daddy last night. They put the table away in a great hurry, or I expect they would have seen it. What a mercy it's found." Mother mopped her forehead, which was pretty hot. "Now I will write to Uncle Jim and go straight down to the post office to register the key before it gets lost again." 2 days later, a letter arrived for John. In great excitement, he tore open the envelope, and out fell a folded piece of paper and a 10-shilling postal order. It was from Uncle Jim. "Dear John," he wrote, "I can't tell you how pleased I was to see that key again. I should have been in Queer Street without it. So I'm sending a postal order for you to buy a book, new Meccano, or something else you want. Ask mother's advice before spending it. Your grateful Uncle Jim." 10 shillings, Mother," cried John, with shining eyes. "All for me. Isn't it wonderful?" Then he added thoughtfully, "The man was right. It is a lucky magnet." So that was our story today, and I see Rambo has been enjoying himself perched up there. If you want to see him again, come again tomorrow. So bye-bye. Say bye-bye, Rambo.